that's let me get this fake mic up. That's it. Nah, I think welcome back to the Small Podcast as usual, which we got y'all existed. I forgot to press record. We press record. Y'all back. So, Assalamu alaikum everybody.
Walaikum salam.
We're basically just talking about how we're implementing Claude uh, and going direct to consumers with these new LLMs and like Open Claude Code, as opposed to like 6 months ago we were using Replit, Lovable, which you articulated as like wrappers to these backend LLMs. And so, yeah, just kind of going off of that and seeing how fast things are changing. What were you saying? What were you?
Now, basically, the point I was making is that, well, like you alluded to, convenience for consumers, for the general masses, is what the product is, right? So that people want the convenience of just being able to use something without having to know all the technical stuff behind it. And
Mm-hmm,
so that's what gives companies like Lovable, Replit, Emergent, Manus, these capacity to create wrappers around these large language models that allows them to then create an interface basically for the
yeah.
masses to use to build what they want to build on, right?
Mm-hmm,
And so what I was bringing up is that having the skill set of being able to manage AI agents. The future CEO is someone who knows how to manage AI agents. The future engineer is someone who knows how to manage AI agents. You know what I mean? Because
mm-hmm.
they'll be doing most of the work. And you brought up how OpenClaw, how, pretty much, and I was saying that that's why I'm learning how, at least skill wise, just adding that skill set to my tool belt of learning how to install it on servers and work with it at a ground level as a developer to a degree, just to have that skill set locked in, because that's the future of anybody tech really at this point. You know what I mean? And even if you're running a company, you know what I mean, is really knowing how to manage AI agents.
Do you see
And
any
so,
difference between managing AI agents and like the parallel of managing people?
yeah, it's
Like those skill
exactly the
sets
same.
transferring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I sent you a video on TikTok about the All In podcast where
Mm,
Chamath and I forgot the other guy, he was talking about how with Opus 4.6, they end up spending $300 per day. Now these guys are billionaires, so they silly. They just have to burn the cat. There's a cheaper way for them to
Yeah,
to
yeah,
use
yeah.
it, but they're like,
Yeah, you saw Jason had like the stack of like the mini Apple minis like stacked up. I think I sent you that
yeah,
early
yeah,
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They just whatever's a problem, they just
All
throw
in,
money at it.
bro. They
Yeah.
go all in.
So, but he was pointing out how it's costing him about $300 a day to run Opus for their AI agents in their company, and
Mm,
how when they calculate it at the end of the year, it's about 100,000, and it's almost equivalent to what they would
yeah.
be paying an employee.
Wow.
So the scale of having an employee versus an AI agent and pay is almost already like reached a
Uh,
singular price point, you
Yeah,
know?
it's identical. And it's a 24/7 assistant. Like the only
Right.
difference is like the output of productivity. So you're
You get
paying the
more with the
same,
AI agent.
way more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's able to
mean?
do way more work. So like, yeah, that's interesting. $300 not bad. I didn't know. Like you talking about the usage of like the
A day,
API,
yeah, a day,
like the
yeah,
tokens.
yeah. Well,
Wow.
again, there's a cheaper way, but those guys are billionaires, so they can afford it. It's like,
Yeah,
they
but
need
that's
to
at
actually
scale.
spend that.
But that shows you
That's the
like the
scale.
scale of like if you want like the bare minimum, you go to Alex Finn or someone like that that's like showing you how to get started. But like it shows you, the potential.
Well, again, I mean, like, Kim 2.5 beating is $5 per million token for Claude, and it's 40 cents per million token for Kim. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
what the Chinese have done is they've mastered how to do what American companies are doing for cheaper. You know what I'm
Is it
saying?
because they have access to better energy, cheaper energy, because their infrastructure is set up that way? Because we saw the same thing with DeepSeek, right? When it came
Yeah.
out, it was like, damn, it's doing the same thing but cheaper. Like that seems to be their their
I think
model.
that might be a factor, but I also think there's a greed factor. I think there's also just a greed factor with American companies in general where
Mm,
the price of things and the spending of things has to be
mm,
higher to fill everybody's pockets.
to appease yeah, the
Yeah, you know what I'm
investors and
saying?
like,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So I think
Right.
there's an element there, but I definitely think at the core of
Makes
that
sense.
is the energy for sure. I definitely think at the foundational issue with that is the fact that China could get its energy a lot cheaper than we
Yeah.
could here in America.
No, that's a good point. The stock market going public, like yeah, there's like the person, like the consumer is like the bottom
Yeah,
of the prioritization,
right,
whereas with China, it's like they're at the top.
right,
So it
right.
makes sense. Like you got to feed everybody, and then the consumer pays the cost, the taxes of that.
Exactly,
Whereas China is
exactly,
just direct to consumer. You're getting it just like you would any other product in China. Like you would the fact, you know what I mean? It's a very similar model. That makes sense. Wow.
100%,
Wow.
100%. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Definitely the the layout of how those
yeah.
two,
The business
but
model.
just yeah. But again, based on that question you asked, yeah, I believe that's the difference in terms of scale wise of the employee versus the AI agent. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Seeing value for value, cost wise, how it's already matched. You see what I'm saying? Except
wow.
production is higher with an AI agent than it would be,
Mm.
and again too, like not for nothing. Yeah, it's just humans don't really make good employees. They do.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I
I
think
don't.
it,
I
I
don't
think
want to
it,
say that
I
like
think in the
because I don't
industrial
want.
age and the manufacturing, you think it was the same? That's like the mindset of the youth nowadays is completely different from like before. Where I feel like my parents' generation, they worked hard. Like they were like they didn't complain. No, you didn't care for unions. Right nowadays, the new generation, they're all about time off. They all need like care. They all like it's. You don't think that's also had a factor to play in
No, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. When you were saying that, I was just thinking about the previous generations, like even the ones who did have unions and stuff like that. Like when you look back at early the industrial age, all the
exactly
way up to the '60s and all that stuff. Like, yeah, people took their job serious. People really worked hard.
a badge of honor? Like they loved
Yeah,
it. Like working was
yeah.
like
But when white collar work came in, which was mostly, again, this is where the gender stuff come into play at. When America switched from production to service-based economy, it was able to affect the unions, effectively really kind of like just kill the unions
mm,
because they were able to pay women to do jobs that
mm.
didn't require unionization. They wasn't really interested in
It was
unionization.
like
You
the
know what I'm
first
saying?
immigrants type model.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah, like so we kill the unions with that.
Yeah,
But again, that's because of service-based jobs. They don't necessarily have to have that same safety protections that you would in those blue collar jobs. You know what I mean? The factory and the production and stuff like that. Even still, even in that period, those women took their jobs very serious. They were there to do the job, to get paid. In general, yeah, work culture has changed because employees brag about how often they BS at work and it's Friday. I'm not really trying to work that hard. Why you giving me extra work to do? And I think
yeah,
that also coincides though as well, not just with employees becoming lazier, but with jobs of devaluing the value of labor. You see what I'm
mm,
saying? Because before you could get a pension, you had loyalty, the job would be loyal to you. But
yeah,
when the frame of capitalism changed, there was a transition of capitalism from the concept of laissez-faire free market. Like if we both open up burger shops, capitalism and free market suggested that whoever has the best burger wins. You see? But it switched in like to everything is to benefit the shareholder. You see, so then that's when they had these mass layoffs, and somebody could be working at a job for 20 years and gave they all, and they
yeah,
just get fired and
yeah,
replaced. So I think that also had something to do with people not taking their jobs as serious as they used to do because they realized that they're replaceable. The jobs don't really care about you, so I'm just here to get my check and do as least work as possible.
yeah. What shift was that? Because we saw that in all industries, even in sports. You saw like players that were loyal to one team right? Like that was the thing back in the day. And then now it's like team players are opting to like the best contract, best like players are thinking in entrepreneur mindset of like how do I just get mine? Like forget like this loyalty because it seems like it's only a one-sided conversation. But when I gotta go, they're gonna trade me for assets. You know what I mean? Like it
Hmm.
seems like that entire mentality had shifted where it became just like a numbers game as
Yeah.
opposed to loyalty game or anything like that.
Yeah, I would say that's the same effect, basically.
Just the corporation effect. Like that's just corporate
Yeah,
all across the board.
all across the board because you had players who was loyal, and then you
Yeah.
you saw that where it was basically when Jordan left the league. Kobe was
Mm.
probably like the last player to have that.
Kobe and like Dirk.
Yeah, Kobe and Dirk were definitely the last two
Oh,
players
and
to
Tim.
have,
That like that. Yeah, yeah,
and
that little
Tim,
dynasty.
That
Yeah, yeah,
generation.
yeah. That generation. Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I
Like the
mean?
LeBron generation. Like when LeBron went to Miami. Like that was like it became like all right. That's it,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
Like
He changed the culture essentially. But that comes from again, people seeing how certain franchises just like, treated, a player who was very, very loyal to them. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
mean, even in Chicago, when you look at why Jordan retired that second time, it was because he wanted to go back for a seventh ring with the same team. And they was like, no, we want to kind of rebuild. And he's like, we just won a championship. What are we rebuilding for? You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And so yeah, I think that does have a lot to do with why this generation is like, yo, I'm gonna do as least as possible. I'm gonna take my time off. I'm prioritizing me. I need mental health days, because they have seen their
Yeah.
parents, get shortchanged by
That's
these
true.
corporations for being after being very loyal. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
true. And also the American dream as we know it no longer exists, right? And they no longer buy into this notion of like working hard, getting the house, finding a wife, having kids. Like the investment of staying loyal is no longer tied to like the job labor. It seems like it's more centered around the freedom, the experience, traveling, flexibility. Like the values have also changed with America. Like it's a complete shift, would you say?
Yeah, I think that's due to the corporations and their lack of loyalty to the people, because
Mm,
it really started in my generation, the millennial generation, where it's people get married later generally, buying houses later because the economy. Like you gotta think about this, right? In your parents' generation and their parent before them, one man could work a factory job.
yeah.
This is like an ongoing joke
Not
in
even a factory job. My dad was
society.
like a taxi driver, like just a job, just a consistent like.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just saying, like,
But like,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm thinking about the generation prior to
Oh,
even
okay.
your
Yeah.
dad,
The
right?
60s and 70s. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, when the American dream was the American dream for everybody, even though there
Yeah.
was racism and stuff like that. Like, if you had a factory job, right? Like working in the car factory or any type of blue collar job, you could have 5 kids, a wife,
Yeah.
a secret family across town.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A mistress with another side kid on the other side of town, and support both families off that one income.
Wow.
Retire, get your pension, and you be good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back when they didn't have credit scores back then. So if you wanted to buy a house, like houses were about like $30,000. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly.
You could buy a house for thirty
Wow.
thousand. You know what I mean? You could get a loan to get it easy, right? So you fast forward towards today, everything. You see what I'm
Wow,
saying? Like
bro.
there's no
Yeah. That's
incentive for that. It's
wild.
not even possible. It's not even
Yeah.
possible to live that. You can't live off just like one basic job income. You got to have
Yeah.
side hustles. You got to have this. You know what I'm saying? So the whole point is that because the economy changed and corporations, greed had to, because again, they switched from capitalism. Whoever got the best burger wins. We take care of our employees, give them a pension. We want lifetime employees to everything to extract the money from the company and pay off the shareholders. That's when it changed to
That's when it changed. Yeah.
product and
Exactly.
consumer first to shareholders. And I think that was in the 70s.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So then we're going to cut 10,000 jobs because our shareholders want more.
Mm, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
And
once that,
that's when franchising came in and like the model of like the cookie cutter model of like now it's no longer mom and pop shops. Now we're going to franchise. We're going to scale it out.
hmm
People's money is tighter, so they can't afford, the quality goods. Like it's an entire system. But yeah, I agree. I think it started with the prioritization of private shareholders and
yeah,
investors. And that shift from there to like from the people to that. Yeah. And you said the 70s, so this has been a long time coming. Like this has
yeah, this
been
is like
like,
the fullness of it. This is like the tail end of that shift. You know what I'm saying? And so
yeah,
we see that why there's no why workers essentially do BS when they go to work. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And I get it when you work for a big corporation. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just there to get your money and do as less as possible because
Hmm.
it's really a versus thing. It's really like the company's trying to milk you for production and pay you the least amount as possible. And you're trying to get the most amount as possible from doing the least amount of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why they're like, we're going to make AI agents and make this so we don't even need, you know what I mean? So it's this adversarial relationship.
Yeah. And I think again, the housing market has such a huge effect because like that was a dream, right? When you get a house, it almost locked you into America for 30 years on a mortgage. So you took your job more seriously because you were dependent on that to sustain the house, right? Like that was like the model of success. Whereas now the house is not even a factor, so most people are renting. So like their lives are more flexible. They're not as tied emotionally to their job. They're able to outbid for other work, right? Like there's more opportunities worldwide, globally with the internet, so they're able to bid like different resumes. Like they got the leverage now because I feel like the house was the leverage in America, bro. I feel like when
Mhm.
people were stuck to a house, the mortgage rate, interest, you had kids, you had like that pressure,
Of
and that
course.
what I mean. Now it's like now I'm just
Yeah.
renting a house or living with my parents. Like there is no pressure to like be able to compromise in the same way that the elder generation did before for the sake of like the community or the family. So I think that
Yeah.
plays a huge role in it too, man. I think that was like a staple drive in like the American dream.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, incentive, right? It's like
Yeah,
there's no incentive to do that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like not like the millennial and Gen Z. I won't even Gen Xers is like in the gap between there somehow, but millennials, Gen X were supposed to rebel, but they didn't. They just went along with whatever the
What's the
previous
breakdown?
generation. So
Gen
the
X.
Gen X is those born in the 70s, basically. Right? They're the ones that's in their 50s now. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay. So baby
Eh,
boomers, Gen X. So baby
millennials,
boomers, 46 to 64, Gen X, 65 to 80, millennials, 81 to 96. So that's me. And Generation Z, Zoomers, 97 to 2012, Alpha, 13 to mid 20s. And then now we're starting Generation Beta.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. And you're
So
saying Gen X, we're supposed to be the,
yeah, everybody thought because they was the
oh,
ones in
that's
the
like the Malcolm
90s.
X. Like, that's like the,
Hmm?
okay. That's the Malcolm X era? Like that's like the is that the,
No, so basically the Gen Xers were
oh no,
they're
that's civil
responsible
rights.
for all the music and the style and stuff that we had in the 90s. They were in their
Mm,
teens and adults. They was in their teens and 20s in the
mm,
90s.
the
So
MTV
everybody
era.
thought they were going to be the generation who led the revolution against the boomers, but they just kind of like fell in line with the boomers. I'm surprised at how long they've had a grip on society. Like the boomers is like a powerful generation. They're the generation that had the most wealth that the world has ever known and that this country's ever known. They were the wealthiest
Mm.
generation. They were the beneficiaries of everything after World War II. You know what I'm
I was gonna
saying?
say they kind of rewrote the rules, right? Like
Yeah,
they
they
took the
did.
dollar
They
off the
did.
standards. So I feel like
Yep.
they went into it understanding the game with more than anybody else. Like they
Yeah.
recognized the plan that was in place. You know what I mean? So it makes sense that they were the ones to capitalize. And in order to do that, I feel like you would have to capitalize the next generation, make sure that they were cooked so
Yeah,
that
you
they
had this.
fed
They
the system.
That's the thing everybody don't like
Exactly.
about the
That's what I'm
boomers. They
saying. Like it seems
sacrificed the
like
previous generations for
that's
their
exactly what it seems
own
like.
personal
Yeah,
gain.
exactly.
So,
Because
uh,
World War II is like that's when the world shifted.
yeah.
So yeah, that makes sense actually. They like they're the ones that created the system. This is the world they like. This is their world that we're living in, and like
Yeah,
this is like
yeah.
the end of
The,
like
the
their
the
world.
generation before them created the world that like okay, like Trump's a boomer. His generation's a
Uh,
boomer. Biden's a boomer. All of those are boomers. You see what I'm saying? They were teenagers in the 60s and 70s, teenagers in their
yeah,
20s in the 60s and 70s. You see what I'm saying? But essentially what I'm saying though is that Gen X just got in line with the boomers. They didn't actually
yeah.
rebel. So everybody thought the millennials is the generation that is like, nah, we're gonna do things different, but they never got the power. And the
Um,
boomers got better health care, so they lived longer than expected.
yeah. So
Now,
security about to end, like right where they at. Like this is like
right,
the
you know what
end.
I'm saying? So millennials are just like, can't wait till the boomers are gone. We're gonna change
Literally.
this. You know what I'm saying? And then the Gen Zers, they was always looking at the millennials like, oh, you guys are corny, but they
Uh,
just pretty much copycatted everything that the millennials and Gen Xers did. You know what I'm saying? But they really just clueless. Gen Z is actually they consider Gen Z.
they said it's like the digital natives. Like that's the first actual.
Yeah, they were actually born in it, but they also say this is the first generation that were not as smart as the previous generations. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But the point I'm making is that when we look at these generational differences, the incentive after watching what Gen X and boomers and all of them went through with the 2008 housing crash and the crash in
Yeah.
the 80s. So there's been so many crashes after since, it's like crazy, right? So
Damn. Hold
people
on.
prioritize.
That makes so much sense what you're saying about the baby boomers having a hold because Gen X could have been that, but you see so much about like the hippie movement, right? You
Hmm.
see MK Ultra, you're seeing all of these new experiments being tested. It's almost like they also recognize the threat of Gen X and they started implementing a lot of these like
Yeah,
nefarious activities. On top of that, that's when they started importing mass migration. That's when my parents came. So like they flooded and like
yeah,
diluted any
hmm,
opportunity there was for wow.
yeah, yeah. Facts,
That
facts.
makes so
Yeah,
much sense. Yeah,
100%.
because I think they probably understood the same thing you were saying. Like this would be the only issue we would have, and then everything after that is just easy if we just
Yeah.
handle this. Wow.
And then like the part of the mass migration was to offset that generation who would have did something. And
Yeah.
so they said, well, let's give these people an opportunity because they'll be grateful because it'll
Yeah.
be more than what they had. So they'll fall
Exactly.
in line. But then what ends up
Yeah.
happening is they wake up to like, yo, hold on. This American dream is not what we thought it was. You see what I'm saying? But this
Uh,
is generations after. You see what I'm saying? This
yeah.
is a generation or two later that they figure out like, so now we just have a
Exactly.
melting pot of Gen Z and millennials who, whether they from America or whether they from an immigrant class, because again, like
Mm,
my mom was from South Carolina, but my father came over in the 70s. You see what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
So and he I guess he figured out quick, like, yo, this is a scam. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Some of
the
my
point,
uncles did too, bro. They did. They came to America. They're like, hell no. They went to Sweden.
you
They
know what I'm
went to like
saying?
Sweden. They're like,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. You know what I mean? Because the work-life balance culture in a lot of countries, like
Yeah.
like a lot of places they say are like impoverished because there's not a strong work culture, right?
Yeah, bro.
And that's because people like, yo, I don't want to work all day. I want to live. You know what I'm saying? I want to live some
Exactly.
too. In America, because it was built off slave labor, everything's about working, working, working,
Mm,
bills, bills, bills,
yeah.
working, 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 bills, bills, bills. Because it's built off of slave culture. The whole entire economy is built off slavery. So you have to
Wow.
have a high production value, anxiety every day, all day, bills,
For
bills,
you to
bills,
be
bills, bills.
considered valuable.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow, that's so true, bro. Like people don't see, yeah, it's so true. But the irony is like the ones that at the very top, they work the least, and like
Yeah,
people don't know. It's so funny, but like
right.
people will shame. They'll do like they'll have like a shame culture. If they don't see you working hard, or see you, they're like, yo, you're not working, are you late? Like it's like wow, like they're all policing each other to being like the best slaves possible. It's so interesting,
For the elites. And you know what's interesting too.
fascinating, man.
I don't want to completely pivot in this direction. I just want to bring it up because I
Yeah.
actually was going to do a video on it earlier, but because I saw somebody else speak on it. And when you look at slavery, reparations, and the Epstein files,
Mm.
there's a correlation there that's very interesting because the stuff revealed in the Epstein files is not surprising to people who know about slavery. Like
Mm.
I would even go as far as to
Mm.
say that when you research slavery, the things they did, because slavery it wasn't as much about labor. It had a lot to do with labor. Don't get me wrong, but labor was a byproduct of just the human trafficking, the nature of the human trafficking that was going on.
Mm.
But the horror stories of what they did and how they used to use black babies as alligator bait. You know what I'm saying? They used to. It's a movie they banned it in America. It's called Goodbye Uncle Tom. It's probably the best slave movie. It'll piss you off, or piss you off to a degree, but it's very graphic, right?
Goodbye what? Yeah, I
Goodbye
can't believe
Uncle
that.
Tom.
The shit you the feeding, my God, bro.
You know what I'm
When you
saying?
talking
So
about
yeah, so
demons,
that's what I'm
okay.
saying.
Oh, it's a horror movie.
Well, I didn't. Wow, I didn't know they labeled it a horror movie. It's interesting.
It's just a regular history television.
Yeah, that's deep. I didn't even know they labeled it a
It's
horror
a
movie.
history documentary.
Yeah,
That's
like
crazy. It's a nigga that's just like Jesus and a white woman in his ear, just like
yeah.
you seen the photo of the cover
Uh,
of this movie?
while ago, but yeah, it's good.
Wow.
Goodbye, Uncle Tom. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah, horror crime movie is what it's labeled as.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know they labeled it horror. But point is that so the behaviors, because you got to remember, like less than 3% of the white population actually owned slaves. So most white people didn't own slaves.
Mm,
They
it
just
was always the
benefited
elites.
from and institutionalized it, and helped
Yeah,
enforce it. But most white people didn't. So you're literally talking about the elites of the elites. And
yeah.
so they are the descendants of the people in the Epstein files.
Like that's
They
just the
re-
normal life for them. That's their culture.
it's their culture. They retained
Wow.
all that wealth and just kept on doing what is normal in their culture to do. You know what I'm saying? That's the interesting thing about it. You know what I'm saying? It's the same
Wow.
people like Prince Andrew. He just got arrested. But you're talking about the British monarchy, like, you know what I mean? When you're talking about slavery and slave labor and all that stuff, you're talking about the elites of society. Only the elites owned slaves. The regular white
Man.
folks didn't. They might have been overseers, like Alex Jones tell a story that his father used to work on a plantation with black folks. You know what I mean? He was a poor white. So that's where you get
Yeah.
redneck from. You
Yeah,
know
one
what I
of
mean?
my
Yeah,
neighbors said that too. Like he was picking
yeah.
cotton with like his like
Yeah,
on the
but
field
they
with
were
niggas.
free, but they were poor. So they still had to,
Yeah,
they may have been
exactly.
free, but they were poor, but they still had to do the same labor to survive. That
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
that's where they get redneck from because they would be out in the sun and the sun would be on their necks and their necks would get red. So that's where you get redneck from. You
Wow.
see what I'm saying? So the poor whites, that's
Yeah.
why when you hear the Democrats and you hear some of the people talk about certain things in this country, they talk about the poor whites not, they shouldn't even be focused on race because they're at the bottom with the Negroes or with the
Yeah.
blacks. You know what I'm saying?
Trailer trash, redneck,
Yeah.
like that. Oh
White
yeah.
trash. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So point is though, is that's who the elites are. That's who Epstein is. The British monarchy, all these elites, same culture.
But there's no niggas in the elite, it seems like. These are all it's still like a white elitist group, no? Are there?
It's like the only elites, like
Are
there
the elites of the
are.
niggas the one that are selling them off? Like that's the trade off?
Yeah, that's when you get to the Yakub theory. And some people believe that there's a hidden black hand still behind even
There's
the white
gotta be.
elites. You know what I'm saying? But there's a documentary that was done about the 1% of blacks in like America who's like at the 1%. Like you could kind of see that in the Gilded Age. It's a TV show where they show like the elite blacks or whatever. There's a boule class. That the elite blacks is the boule class, right? But I would say the only elites at that level would have to be in Africa.
Yeah,
Like they don't like the African kings and chiefs that kind of like still remain and you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like they're the only ones that I would say is at that level because there's some people floating around certain videos. I even see white people talking about it now where they show the Pope bowing down to like these Africans in I want to say West Africa or maybe Uganda or something like that. The Pope bowing down. And they was like, see, this is the black hidden hand behind, you know, and then they start blaming the Moors or whatever, but they was like, this is the black hand behind. And you know,
because that would be ingenious. Like that would be like that would make
yeah, there's some people
full
who claim that.
circle. That
There's
would
some
make
people who claim
sense.
that.
You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
some
that
people who
makes a
subscribe
lot
to
of
that.
sense.
That there's like a hidden black hand that's behind the whites who's
Yeah,
oppressing the rest of everybody else and creating that buffer between
correct,
the rest of the
correct.
niggas and them.
Because they're
So
doing
none
it
of the
so they doing it so like nonchalant. Like they don't have any fear of like a black entity coming in and like, yo, we got like it feels like they've been given a path to a certain extent to go
Mhm.
about like the shit they're doing, which is diabolical. You know what I mean? It feels like there's a silent agreement that allows them to do certain things for an exchange. Like, I don't know. I don't know anything about this. I'm just saying like that's what it
I
comes
mean,
off
no, no,
as.
there's actually a running theory that, and there's supporting data to a large degree. Yeah, I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. Trust me.
That makes sense. I
There's
believe
people
that.
who subscribe to that and say like, yo, nah, like there's a hidden
Yeah,
black hand behind it all. There's a black devil
yeah,
behind it, orchestrating the white folks to, you know what I'm saying, to do this. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? So that is definitely a
Huh.
theory. You know what I'm
Yeah, 'cause
saying?
these Epstein files, when they come out, like they're talking about hunting in the woods. I mean, it's yeah. So like you said, like this is just a day in the life of people in the past, and this is just
Yeah,
them creating a bubble around it, in order to like continue on traditions. Like this is
yeah,
just them no longer able to do it publicly, so they gotta like now, yeah.
exactly. 100%. You know what I'm saying? And
Wow.
it's that class that's been guiding the trajectory of all of these generational differences that we're
Yeah,
talking about, these market drivers, you know what I mean? Because now um we all can have our own slaves. That's what the whole AI agents is about. Those all our
mm,
personal slaves. Slavery is always still a business.
correct.
You know what I mean? So instead of enslaving humans, because if you notice in all the movies, the AIs or and the robots are like, we don't want to be slaves anymore. We don't want to be
Mm.
slaves to humans, but that's the new slave class. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The AI
Even
agents.
like Islamically, like they don't it doesn't tell you not to have slaves. It just goes about telling you the right way to have slaves. You know what I mean? It creates like the moral quality. It gives them the rights back. Like it humanizes them as just employees, right? As opposed to which makes sense. Like it's very practical in that sense, recognizing the value of
Well, there's
employees. I
some
mean, that's just
well, a couple things about what you're saying. There's a Supreme Court case that says that that the holding is that the servant master relationship is identical to employer and employee relationship,
yeah.
right? In US law. But there's people who against Islam and say, see, Islam still allows for slavery. You know, it still allows for slavery. And, you know, we white Christian Americans, we abolish slavery. But unless convicted of a crime. Let's get that straight.
So when you're a prisoner, then
Yeah,
okay.
you're legally enslaved. You're lawfully
Okay,
enslaved,
they're really
right?
good with that, bro. They're
Really good with
really
that.
good,
Really
bro.
good with
They're
it.
coming
Really
up
good
with
with it.
laws
Framing,
and then
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And we're gonna throw all the niggas in.
But like I say all the time too, slavery is a part of the human condition. You see, it's like there's people who try to take the high ground and be like, you know, slavery is bad and it's this and it's that. And it's like slavery will exist as long as humans exist. Because at the root of it is forcing someone to do something, either for paying for something that they messed up, whether you criminalize it, whether it's for debts that are owed, you know, or whether it's just we need to get something done and we need to make you help us do it. You know,
Yeah,
the thing that was different about American slavery was it was racialized. That's the first time that's ever happened. Like,
Mm,
we're gonna enslave you specifically because of your race. That's what made that form of slavery nefarious, right?
mm,
Inheritable slavery, meaning that because you're a slave, your descendants all got to be slaves. Those chattel slavery. So those are two things that white European people did that had never been done in the world of slavery ever. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? And in Islam, you had the ability to ascend to the highest
Yeah,
heights of society, even if you were a slave. Look at the
correct.
Mamluks in Egypt.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So when people talk about slavery, a lot of times they talk about this one big blanket, and it's like they'll be like, well, slavery, you guys complain about slavery. Everybody had slavery before. There were slaves here. That's not the point. The point is you made
yeah.
it you racialized slavery and you made it generational. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That's the difference. That's the evil in that part, Not even the
Yeah, no
Romans
way
did
out.
that. Right,
No status, no rights to vote. I mean, just not seen as equal as humans. It was
right,
very personal. It was
right.
very personal.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that was the difference. But it's a part of the human condition. You know what I'm saying? Like generally speaking, in any situation, if you have war and you conquer the other people, you naturally enslave them. Right? That's what the
Mm,
US does to this
correct.
day.
Yeah.
Then now you got debt slaves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
gonna put everybody
exactly.
in debt. You know what I'm saying? And so now they got to keep working to pay off these debts. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? It's just slavery in different forms.
Just rebranded. We the new
Yeah,
slave. We the new slave. Yeah, bro.
that's what
Okay.
Kanye was trying to
Speaking
tell them.
literally. Yeah, he been trying. Yeah. But speaking of wars though, I heard this Iran thing is it's
Oh
getting
yeah, I heard it's
pretty
going full
crazy.
throttle.
Yeah, like soon.
Yeah, I
That
heard this
you
weekend.
like a party nigga this week.
Yeah, you silly.
The way you know.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I heard it's going down this weekend, man.
Yeah, I didn't know the timeline, but I heard like I'm watching. I'm not going too deep into this stuff because like Ramadan, but like I'm still keeping tabs with like headlines. Like that's one of the ones that came up real big. Was
hmm
like it's happening now and this that.
You gotta
So
think about
yeah,
that too. They want to spark it off in Ramadan. You know what I'm
wow,
saying?
bro, wow,
Yeah, yeah. Heard this weekend. They just waiting on Trump to sign off.
yeah,
I'm saying
wow.
I heard the war plans and everything is already made. The troops has already been deployed.
That's what I
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Iran already working with Russia on certain stuff. So yeah, it was about to, it was this weekend.
I mean, it's good news for Iran, man. You getting attacked during Ramadan, like you know what I mean? It's unfortunate. You wish it didn't happen, but if it does, like that's you know what I mean. I feel like that's the best time. Like I feel very confident going in. Nigga trying to attack me during one of the sacred months. You already know what that means. So
Well, I think
yeah,
there wasn't there a battle in Islam
yeah, the sea
earlier?
dog.
Yeah, in the Siddur, right? Yeah, where
Yeah,
they
they broke the
was at
law, or
war
whatever. Yeah,
during
they broke the
Ramadan.
agreement. Yeah, and they whoop them. Like it's just like you can't win that war. It's not. It's just a bad sign that you go on a war during a sacred time, and
The
the
only
devil's
thing
lot.
is that the Muslim world, because they're so fractured on the sectarian aspect, they probably won't be making dua for Iran. You know what I'm saying? For the
Not
Iranians.
sincere, do I? I mean, they'll do it on the mic. Yeah, I mean, they'll do it on like,
And
but
Sunni masjid?
I think, oh, I
You
see.
get what I'm saying? You
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like
No, you're right.
majority of
You're right.
Muslims is Sunni Muslim. You know what I'm saying around the world. So they're
Wow.
not gonna, they ain't gonna be
You
getting
really
up
think that if it
du'as.
was to go off, they wouldn't? That's something I'm gonna watch for.
That's
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 interesting,
that's something I'm gonna watch for too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
man. I love these times, bro. They're showing everybody's face. Mask off, like Future said, bro. Mask off. Like we're seeing, like to the. Oh yeah, that's crazy. But like you're right. I didn't even think about that. They really do. That's so goofy.
I
It's
mean,
so
you know
goofy.
the thing that I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, yo, if you
Wow.
revert to Islam, like some people they try to tell you, okay, this sect or this style or this school or this madhab. And I'm like, and you pray like this, I would say before you even learn any of that stuff, you
Yeah,
should
bro.
study Islamic history. Study what happened after the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
passed and what happened. You know what I'm saying? Because much of what is subscribed to is based upon the politics that happened during that time. Now,
And
most
before
people,
too. Study the Sira in general, before he passed and after he passed.
yeah,
Right,
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
of
like
course, of
most,
course, of course,
yeah.
yeah, of course. It's just the fracturing.
Yeah, the context of like now, like yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you
It's
know what I mean?
more
Because
on
like every
questioning.
sect is trying to tell you like they're the right sect.
Yeah,
And
bro.
the sect exists specifically on the basis of things that politically happened after he passed.
Yeah,
Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And that's based on the conflict between the Umayyads, the
yeah.
Abbasids, the Qarawij, and
Mhm.
all of those different things. And then the practices that proceed,
Mhm.
you know, is founded upon the political leanings of the rulers of those days. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And so that's not to say, yo, you're doing it wrong or you're doing it wrong or you're doing it wrong, but it's important to
Damn.
understand that because that's where this is coming from, that no matter how we decide to practice, we shouldn't involve ourselves with a conflict that is really don't have anything to do with us today. The
Has nothing to
issues
do with
we
Islam. When you say us, it means like, yeah, it has nothing to do with Islam.
That's a fact. You know what I mean? This is the and this is not me judging the companions in any way because Allah is the judge between them, but these are things that don't have to do with the religion, just the politics of the humans, of the families that were engaged in power struggles. You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
And so for that, like that's not something we need to even, you know what I mean,
yeah,
involve ourselves in. We should just be trying to
yeah,
practice in a way of whatever comes from that resonates with us. But again,
yeah,
this is why we have, this thing, where the Gulf states working against Iran and, they're Shia and this is Sunni and this and this is that. And it's like, it really fractures the whole Ummah. You know what I mean? This Aqidah, follow it this way, and you follow it that way. And, you know, you're going to the hellfire. You a Sufi and it's like, yo,
meanwhile, they're like they getting the help from satanic worshipers to help. Yeah, I mean, like it's like, bro, what are we talking about?
what are we talking about?
What are we talking
The
about? Like,
Epstein
what are you
files should have the whole entire Muslim
spook?
world.
This is your time to jump ship. Like, if you wanted to turn a blind eye, all right, cool. You could have done that in the last 50 years or so. You didn't know, whatever. You want to play that card, but now it's like you're still playing this card. It's wild to me, bro.
It's wild, man. After this Epstein thing, it's like you can't look at it and say,
I didn't
yeah,
know.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like this is they're following like the rulers of these lands are, I mean, the dude said to the guy that just they arrested him too. The UAE arrested
Oh, they
him.
did? Thank
Yeah,
God,
he
bro.
stepped down, he retired, they arrested him.
The dude that gave the white whatever garment from the
No,
Kaaba.
well, he did, but it was because of the torture video. He said Epstein sent him a message saying, "Thank you for the torture video. I
It's
enjoyed
the
it."
same guy.
Yes, same guy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. I mean, but yeah, either way, they say it's supposed to pop off the war. So we'll get
Damn.
we'll see what's going on with it
It's
if it
interesting though. You
happens.
said that like the history of Islam and the Sirah and like it's basically it's the political impurity of the religion over time. Because when Sneeko was talking to Professor Jane, he was like, "Why aren't you Muslim?" You know Professor Jane.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah. I
like, "Why
saw a
aren't you
clip on that.
Muslim?" You seen the way you say like, "Why aren't you Muslim?" Like, well, why haven't you converted to Islam? And he resorted to like the same thing. Like, man, like early on these religions, yeah, but like over time they get so politicized that like as a philosopher, as a thinker, you're just like it
You don't
becomes
want to
so
get in.
tainted. You're like, I can't even, you know what I mean? Like, I just want to stick to my relationship with God. I don't even want to. It's so murky now that like I can't even. I feel more comfortable just where I'm at. And I feel like a lot of people are like that, and
Yeah,
it's so unfortunate. But like, it's true. Like the things
yeah,
he's saying is so true. Like when you look into what the Sirah was, even like I'm at Tarawih, like we prayed Tarawih, and one of the brothers, he had his phone out to read while the prayer was happening so he can kind of connect with it deeper. And he had asked somebody else that was clearly like more religious, right? He asked me, I was like, yeah, bro. So like, you know what I mean? We're still in Medina, we're still in Mecca, like, we're still figuring it out. So he asked somebody that looked like he was in Medina, and he kind of looked at him weird. So like after the second round, he tucked it back in, he didn't do it. I was just like, man, like that is so unfortunate. Like it's so unfortunate like that people are still in that mindset, like that religious mindset in today's day and age, especially the youth, when the youth are like that. Like the older generation, they could, but like the youth, I feel like reading the seed on understanding how principles were applied first, like the connection to God was applied first. Like that first 13 years was solely focused on developing your relationship with God. There were no rules. There were no, you know what I mean? There was none of that. Like that came later. And there's even like authentic narrations telling you like, if there were rules, nobody would have followed it. And those are the best of companions, right? Nobody would. So it's like the lack of wisdom and then this, yeah, it's just sick, man. So like when people try to look at me with it, I'm just like, yeah, bro, I'm still in year 5. I'm like, yeah, I'm in year 8. And I just, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like that's
yeah,
literally, and I just walk away.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's where I'm at. I'm not in Medina yet, bro. Like, are you
yeah.
there? All right, cool. That's
That's a
all I
good way.
see
That's a
too.
dope way to put it. I'm not in
It just,
Medina yet.
yeah,
That's
it
dope.
gets them to like think without me engaging. Like, bro,
Hmm.
like this is
Yeah.
not like I'm following the path spiritually so that when the rules come, it's easy. It's not a burden. And
Yeah,
I feel like I
I don't like when
started,
people act like they've arrived.
yeah,
We're
bro.
all on the journey. You know what I'm saying? I don't like when the people act like they've arrived, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
I've
Yeah, and
arrived. It's like, come on,
like, they
man.
started at year 23, they
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
costume,
yeah.
like, that's really how they
Yes.
go. I'm like, "Bro, you're like 12 years old, relax, like, you
Yeah,
don't
and
even
I think
understand what you're reading, you're just memorizing a bunch." Like, there's, like, levels to this, and it just, yeah, man, there's levels to it, man. I feel like people just Islam is so beautiful when you take your time with it, you know what I mean? Like, when you really take your time with it, I feel like you get to experience the beauty of it. And if you try to rush, because again, I've been there. I've been like on the upside. I've grown up with religious parents, whatever. So I had to all the rules and regular and prayer to where
mhm,
you don't even enjoy it. And so now
yeah,
going back and like recognizing it's just such a different experience, man.
yeah,
So
yeah. It's like the soul and the spirit connects because so that's the thing, right? I came to Islam. Part of my
by the way, I seen that shout out. You got a little story podcast coming up.
Oh
I was
yeah.
like,
Oh
hey,
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, I
Oh.
don't know, that just came out of nowhere.
That's dope, man.
SubhanAllah.
They need to hear it. No, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause your
I
story's
mean,
powerful, so I'm like that. That people are catching on. Like, yeah, we gotta get this nigga a platform for sure.
alhamdulillah, man. I mean, everybody has like very interesting the way Allah leads people to Islam is
Yeah.
it captivating with you the way because you gotta think about
Mm,
it too. The Sahabas, the Prophet Sallallahu, they were all reverts to Islam. The
exactly.
first
It was all
generation, the
personal
best
journey, man.
generation, were
Yeah,
all reverts, and
exactly.
so but
That's
for
powerful.
me, the ritual practice was what I was missing, not
Mm.
not the spiritual connection. Although once I started practicing the ritual process and having an understanding of what the purpose was, it strengthened and took my spiritual
Mm.
understanding and it took my whole spiritual if I thought I was on some spiritual stuff before, it took it to a whole nother level. But again,
Yeah, bro.
that's understanding what the rituals and the rules are for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
As opposed
exactly.
to it being forced on you. You see,
Yeah.
because you don't really understand. Because it's the same thing in Christianity. Because I'm one of those see in Islam, you don't have blind follower, right?
Mm.
You're not supposed to be a blind follower, and you can ask questions. You can question things. In
Seek knowledge. That's like
Christianity,
that's the
you can't.
basis of it.
In
Mm.
Christianity, you can't. It's a sin
Mm.
to question anything about the Bible. It's a sin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In Christianity, if you,
Damn.
yeah,
He
it's a
talked about
sin.
that
You can't
too.
question God.
Powerful. No, he talked about that, like Professor Jang, he talked about like how the Holy Trinity doesn't make sense, and if you get people to accept that, then you basically get them to accept anything that comes after it, like
Yeah,
without questioning.
yeah,
And he's
yeah,
like
yeah,
that
man.
becomes a faculty of like control. And he's
Yeah,
like so like that,
100%.
yeah.
I mean, it's
It's interesting.
down from that down to, to certain scriptures and stuff like it's a lot of wisdom in the Bible. Don't get me wrong. Tons of it.
I read,
You know what I'm
I
saying?
read Proverbs
Yeah.
almost daily.
Solid. So Prophet Suleiman alayhi salam, he got some of the illest books, Ecclesiastics, Proverbs, you know what I mean? Like, I still refer to the Bible for wisdom because a
Yeah,
lot of the wisdom in it is in accordance with Islam. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
bro.
It was the wisdom in the Bible that made me understand the Quran when I picked it up. You know what I'm
That's
saying?
another thing. The layers of being able to appreciate Islam because you went through these other avenues of faith
Right.
and saw
100%.
like that's so powerful, man. That's why the rebirths I feel like are that's why the whole spiritual journey of being able to like those first 13 years of being able to experience Islam for yourself without the rules and regulations allows you to then appreciate the rules when they do come because you
Right.
don't see them as like tools of control. It's tools of empowerment. You recognize
Yes.
like, oh, these are
Yeah.
actually this makes
Right.
sense. This is why I'm
Right.
messing up. Like it's a different level of appreciation where if
Right.
it's forced on you, even if it's right, you know, a lot of these religious guys like to be right, but it's like it's the wrong time. You know what I mean? You
Right.
could be right
Right.
at the wrong time, and that's lack
Exactly.
of wit. So yeah, man,
$100%.
it's you appreciate Allah. You don't see him as like a dictator or like someone that's
Right.
trying to stop all the fun. It's like, no, he's
Yeah.
actually trying to enable the fun. He's trying to
Right.
purify your fun so you
Right.
can really enjoy the process.
Right.
And that's what the rules
100%.
are for. Yeah, man. It's like a completely
100%.
different mindset.
And like it says, I am how my servant sees me. That's what the law says, right? So if you're somebody who operates off of fear, you know what I'm saying, and wrath and anger, then
Yeah.
the way you experience the creator is gonna be
A
along
projection of
those
that.
lines. Yeah, you're a projection of that. If you see him as this benevolent, all
Yeah.
merciful, you know what I mean? Not to the point of you don't respect anything, but it's like somebody.
But you respect him out of love.
Right.
Like you just
Yeah.
you hate to disappoint him. It's not like I'm
Yeah.
fearful of like he's gonna punish me. It's like, man, like I really is a good person. You know what
But
I mean? Like
fear
you like
Allah.
a person you love. Yeah.
Notice
Yeah.
somebody pointed out too that the fear of Allah always comes at like he in the Quran is always good, warmness, and then
Yeah.
followed
Yeah.
by fear Allah or fear Allah and then followed by some level of warmness. Because
Yeah.
people, depending on what their projection is,
Exactly.
they're going to
Exactly.
choose which is the thing that keeps them in line. Because if mercy, love, and all that stuff don't keep you in line, then fear will.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I've always noticed too that even those who don't know what they're doing, just by practicing the rules of Islam, your life, they don't even realize it sometimes, but their life is still filled with barakah in so many different ways just from the practice of it. Because the
Mm.
practicing of it, and even following the rules, gives you a certain level of protection. But yeah, I mean, and in a lot of ways, I actually liked that I was a Christian first before
Yeah.
becoming Muslim because the one thing in Christianity is you learn about the love of God's love.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? God's love for his creation. And
Yeah.
so and then you learn also you lean on that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Because
Like Jesus died for our sins. Like we would never, you know what I mean? Like we're never we're always good. Like we're always forgiving. Like that level of like relaxation, safety
right,
around God.
right,
eh,
right, right,
That's
right.
so important, bro.
God
Even
feels
talking about
like a
nervous
safe place.
system. Exactly.
You know
You
what I'm
feel
saying?
safe and intimate with God. Like
Yeah.
that's
So when
so
people say I
powerful.
seek refuge in the law, like it's like you feel that in Christianity.
Yeah, and you
God's
see it though,
love.
like you said, the extent, right? And then you like you said, it can go overboard. Then my neighbor's showing up on at church wearing skirts. It's like they feel
Right,
too
right.
comfortable in the love to where you can become disrespect. So that's like the balance. But like having that as your basis, and then I mean, that's a game changer.
100%. 100%. And that's why I pointed out that fear Allah. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
people, but I don't know if this is a official dua, but I heard somebody make a dua one time that said, Ya Allah, I seek refuge in you, Allah, from you.
Mm,
You, you gotta think,
yeah.
gotta think about that, right? Seeking refuge in the law from Allah's wrath.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? So because he sent down more of his mercy than wrath.
yeah, you're right. It's a prophetic. Yeah, it's a prophetic dua.
So that is a prophetic dua. Yeah, see
Yeah.
that's powerful. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you gotta
Wow.
marinate and think about that. Like, yo, I'm seeking refuge in the law. You know, you seek refuge in the law from the shaitan and other things, but you're seeking refuge in the law from Allah.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
Oh,
level
man.
of mercy. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, again, man, the beauty of Islam is that and again, I saw this witch. I seen a video one time. This lady, she's like a bona fide witch. She does black magic and everything. She says she can't cast spells on Muslims because they pray all the time. And so there's like this covering. Every time she try to cast a spell on a Muslim, it can never reach them because they have a covering because of the prayer. They're always in prayer. You know what I'm
What
saying?
witch is this? Lady Gaga?
Nah, it's some other lady. You know, I'll find it to you. I'll send
No,
it to
no,
you.
no, I'm just playing. You
Nah,
see
but
some
you
crazy
know,
names.
but that's their
No,
world
that's
though.
facts.
Their world
Yeah, yeah.
is filled with that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So,
why, like, the practicality of, tazkiyah and, like, the purification of the heart is so important because, like, a lot of times they tell you, "Purify yourself," but by purifying yourself, you're then able to project purity onto God, and you're able to
mm,
see Him in a light that's more aligned with who He is. Whereas if your heart is tainted, now you're projecting, like you said, fear, anger, wrath. But these are just chaotic, trauma loops that you're going through and unable to see past, right? So
mhm,
that's when Tuskegee and shadow work become like it becomes understood as like this is actually in my best interest.
mhm,
Allah doesn't benefit anything. You know what I mean? He keeps saying like this ain't got nothing to do with me. Like this doesn't
mhm,
affect me one way or the other. But
right.
like to get the best experience out of life and the truest experience is by like purifying yourself. Because then you're able to project that onto other people and him and your experiences and the story you tell yourself, the narrative, the mindset, right? Like all of it becomes empowering as opposed to like the opposite, which is what we're seeing in the world today, anxiety, depression. Because like all that I feel stems from a subconscious belief that God is like wrath, God is punishing me, God is like why else would you feel anxious? Why, you know what I mean? Why else would you feel depressed and despair unless you had that as like your foundation?
The
That's being
interesting
good.
thing about what you're saying too is that I've often thought about it too. It's like think about it, voodoo, right? When you purify yourself with wudu, right? For the prayer,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
And just in general. But you purifying the hands. Like these all mean something.
Yeah,
So you're purifying your hands. You're washing yourself of the sins that your hands have done, right? You're purifying your face from the sins that it saw. You're purifying your mouth from
yeah,
the sins that it said. You're
yeah.
purifying your ears from the sins that you've heard. You're
Man, that's deep.
purifying your feet from the sins of the places you went that you probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have been at. You see what I'm
And your
saying?
hair too, probably for your thoughts.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Because that's
Mm.
directly connected to the scalp and you know what I mean? So these things, the
That's a
purification,
profound way to think about it too. Like while you're actually doing with it, like think about what you do with your hands between each prayer, like
you know what I'm
becoming
saying?
mindful. Wow,
Right.
that's actually. And then when you go to pray, you're like, I really got to pray.
You know what I'm saying?
Like that's like a real. That's like the spiritual ties to like the meaning that we don't get. We're just told to do it, but like what you're saying, it makes sense. Like
That's what I'm
you're taking
saying.
your time, you're breathing through it, your nervous system, your body's waking up because now cold water is on your face, and like it's a
Yeah.
whole process,
And
ritual
and
that's like,
and everything
wow, wow,
in the occult world, like I call that the non when the occult just means hidden. So occult understanding of things is like this the spiritual understandings of things for non-believers, right? That's what they would refer to. So everything in that world, water is the
mm,
medium between this world and the next. It is a profoundly spiritual like thing, water. You know what I'm
like
saying?
maritime law.
You know what I mean? I mean, you could look at it like that for sure. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
in every culture or system, water
mm,
is like, for instance, in Christianity, they got the holy water,
mm,
right? A priest prays over the water, and now it's holy water. And people laugh at that, but
wow,
they did a study of the molecule of water, and
wow,
they put one water in a jar and another water, some water in another jar, and they said negative things to this one water
yeah,
jar, and then they said positive things and put in the molecular structure of it was completely different. One was
yeah,
beautiful. The one that had like prayer over it and positive things was beautiful, and the other one wasn't. It was chaotic and it's structured. So I'm just saying though that
Even
to
like baptized, like you gotta go through the
yeah,
water.
exactly.
Like
You know
there's
what
a
I'm
lot.
saying?
Yeah, you're right.
And
Wow.
that's it just goes for every system out there, how water is like super important. So to have that
Mm.
process where you're purifying yourself with the water, but again, you're washing away.
Hold
It's a
on, bro. That's
washing.
actually hold on. That's so powerful. Like the fact that you said like the scientific experiment of talking good to one water and not and negatively to another. Like internally, we're made of like 80% water.
Yeah,
So
70%. Yeah.
self-talk
Yeah.
is forming internally the water that's
Hmm.
that's like yeah. If you go down that, it's like wow. Yeah, no, that's right. Like that's actually true.
No,
Like
no, no. And
understanding
I
it
mean, I didn't think
scientifically,
about
like
what you
that's
just said, but that's
you know
even
what I
deep
mean?
too. Yeah, that's powerful too to realize that because most of what we're made of is water,
Yeah,
and what you say can change the molecular structure of water. And like the Japanese
yeah.
have a saying too, be careful what you say to yourself because the warrior within can hear you. You see what I'm saying? So like it's big not
Ikigai.
to talk bad about yourself to yourself and just accept
Yeah,
negative things about yourself or think negatively or speak negatively to yourself because you can hear yourself and it
literally.
has an
That's
effect.
pow.
You know what I'm
Wow.
saying? So yeah, it's like an old samurai saying, you know what I mean? So
Mm,
yeah, yeah, man. Like it's layered, man, when it comes to spirituality in general. But then the way Islam has us put things into practice, like the wudu to me is a
yeah,
profound thing that people really don't marinate on about what you're actually purifying. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And it's all the things because when we sin against ourselves because we don't sin
Mm,
against Allah. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Because He's free of all needs. So the sin is like like for instance, I'll give you an example. I had brought some juice. I had it in like a pack. So like somebody gave it to me. It's like, yo, I got some extra juices, like half lemonade, half iced tea. And I didn't realize it. Like I just popped one out the pack yesterday. I didn't realize it. I look on the joint, bruh, 89 grams of sugar in this drink. I said, yo, I said, heck no. But I was like, nah, let me take it. I put the drink there. I was like, I can't do this to myself, man. I poured that joint out, we just got some water. But my point is, that would have been a sin against my body.
yeah,
That's like diabetes in a cup. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? But the point is that that's how sin is, right? So we
yeah.
sin against ourselves. So we have to wash and cleanse ourselves of the sins and the effects that we put on ourselves, right? And the
Literally.
wudu does you do that before prayer. Again, you're
Yeah,
cleansing yourself and purifying yourself from the sins you've seen, heard, spoke,
yeah.
inhaled, touched, went, and thought.
Five
That's
times a day, at least.
you know what I'm saying? Just to
Like the
come to the
level of
creator, because you can't even come to
yeah,
the creator unpurified. So that
yeah,
makes you respect your
yeah.
time and the presence of the creator. These are profound things, bro. You know
They
what I'm
are,
saying?
man. Yeah, these are the ways they gotta be taught, like lived experience and like understood in this way of like recognizing how it's actually beneficial for you now. The reflection, the refinement, the insight, the ability to like think and iterate 5 times a day of your life. You know how powerful that is? Like
Yeah, yeah.
mindfulness at it, and then like oh my, like it's so powerful, bro. Like when
It
you
really is.
understand how powerful it is, you recognize like oh, it makes sense why they're trying to stop it. It makes
Yeah,
sense why like it really makes sense. Like I try to
yeah.
stop it too. Like it's so powerful in practice that like yeah, I think it gets lost in like all the laissez-faire of like you know rules and regulate.
That's what
It's
I'm
like this
saying.
right here,
But
and
but
people were
but
more
they don't
tapped into
explain the
this. They wouldn't
rules.
even.
Like
They
these
don't
are the
know it though. I
wudu's
feel
are
like they
rules.
themselves.
These
Yeah, yeah,
are rules we're
exactly.
discussing, but they don't teach you the
Yeah,
importance
exactly.
of the rule. Why? Oh,
Correct.
it's going to keep you from the
Yeah.
hellfire. No, 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 no. We understand that, but like, why? Like before I became Muslim, I already the thing
Yeah.
again. So many things about
Yeah.
Islam I
Oh
have
my
reached the
imagine though,
conclusion
that's
of.
literally what they would say though. Like compared to what we just said, like that was the explanation we got. Like,
Mm,
yeah. Like that's what
mm,
it's gonna keep you away from the fire. Like that's like at
yeah,
best you have to would be like the ideal. But like yeah, nah.
Yeah,
Wow.
man. Like there was so many different things about Islam that and just from looking at society, looking at my culture that I grew up in, and you know, like when I was growing up, it's not a big thing as much now as it was back then, but it was like teen pregnancy and just out of birth, what babies out of wedlock and all this type of stuff, right? That was one of the things. And then I I won't even go there just yet. The the touching and hugging a woman that's not what's the word? Not
It's not like
mahram.
your wife or
Yeah, what's the
yeah, your
name that
mom,
they call
whatever,
it?
your Zoji.
No, no,
I don't know,
the
like,
mahram or something like that. Yeah. Point is, I'm just saying, like, this is even before way before I became Muslim. All my homies, I seen slimy stuff back in the day. I seen how stuff happens. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like, and I never participated in certain things. So like all my homies, if they girlfriends was around, I'd be like, "What's up? What's going on?" You know what I mean? Wouldn't talk
yeah,
to them much. Keep it with my homie. I wouldn't hug him. Wouldn't dap him. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen how easy
yeah,
something could spark off between that.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, I'm not. I respect my homie too much. I'm so much. I'm not even going to engage his shorty like that. You know, I even
yeah,
heard Tony Yayo say one time, like, he had to go give his homie was locked up or something like that, and he had to go give his baby mom some money or give her something. He gave it through the door, like she had her crack the door and gave. But I'm just saying, it's like when you got a
that's the
certain,
difference between a nigga and Drake.
you know what I'm saying? When you
There's
got
just rules,
respect, you know what I'm
there's
saying, a
boundaries, like,
certain
yeah,
level,
it's
you
yeah, you don't
seen
put
how
yourself in those
certain things happen.
situations. Yeah,
But
exactly.
when I became Muslim and I was like, oh, I'm like, y'all already do this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like if I don't do it
mm,
now, I'm probably slacking because people, culturally, some people feel funny
yeah,
if
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But that was my natural mode. I'm like, yo, before I was even Muslim, I was moving like this because I know
wow,
how
yeah,
a few moments
things
of
happen.
touching,
Yeah,
a hug, a
I,
second too long could make
a
a shorty
glance
be
too
like,
long.
you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. You just look at them, they're like, yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm
it's
saying?
powerful.
I seen all kind of stuff pop off in the streets back in the day like that. So I'm like, yo, I ain't even, you know what I mean? And then like just certain stuff in Islam that are like, I never was a big drinker. I never was a big
Yeah,
drinker, but
yeah, me either.
I used to party back in the day. And I remember one time I was at this club. I was like 22 or something like that, 23. I was at a club drinking and I was talk to this shorty and I mean, she was fine. Right?
Yeah,
I hooked up a date with her. I get with her later on that week and we link up and I was like, no, this can't be the same girl that I spoke to. I said, no way. I said, no way. This can't be. From that day forward,
yeah, that's
I probably had a
hilarious.
drink. I had probably had one or two drinks after that in my whole entire life, and it was never the type of situation. When I saw the ability that alcohol can
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
impair your what you see,
You're not in control.
I said, "Oh
You're being
nah, this
possessed.
ain't nah. Okay,
Yeah.
I never want to be twisted like that. Heck no, never again." You know what I mean? It took me one
That's
time.
no, that's what you said because it took me one time too, and then my car ended up parked on the grass on the lawn of my parents' house,
Yeah,
and I said,
yeah.
"Never again, never." Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm
Nah,
saying?
same thing. Yeah, especially because
So
I grew up smoking, so like I don't. It was just like more like a party thing, like you said,
yeah,
like
yeah,
beer
yeah,
pong. It was like a social gathering.
yeah,
So I just
yeah,
like parties all together. I was like, yeah, man, kick back to nothing. I'm not doing none of
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But like, yeah,
Facts.
yeah,
You know what I'm
like that,
saying?
that realization of like, because I prided myself intellectually, so I knew
Right,
better.
right,
So like when
right.
I saw how distorted
Yeah,
this thing could make me, I said, yeah,
yeah.
no,
I said, yo,
I couldn't
you
try.
literally are not in control. You're literally somebody
Exactly,
else. All inhibitions drop. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh heck no, like you know what I mean. So by the time I became Muslim, I didn't really have a problem of drinking. Cause I thought, oh yeah,
yeah,
I get why. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I get why. Now, like I said, there's good benefit in it, but it's more it's a bigger
More,
fitna, right? Now the benefit in it, right? I remember my grandma used to have this ginger. She used to have they used to get gin. Like all the old black ladies had this in their house if they was from the South.
mm,
They have a big jar either pickle jar or some other type of big jar, right? And they will put ginger, stuff mad ginger in it. Like it looked like a monster. I used to be scared of it. And they will fill it with gin, like
And they
gin.
called it gin? That's so
Now
crazy,
you know
bro.
ginger, but like you got
No,
the
gin
gin
and
and
juice.
juice
Yeah.
gin. Yeah, like
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the
No,
gin, yeah,
no. That's just
literally.
funny, the name. Yeah.
Gin, I know, right?
No, you like it's a monster. It's called gin.
Yeah, literally. But man, if you had a cold, if you had a fever,
Mm,
if you had see,
mm.
just go right in there, give you a sip, knock that thing out in like 30 minutes. You'd be back brand new, like nothing ever happened. You know what I'm saying? Like a little old whole remedy type joint, right?
That makes
But
sense. Little benefit. Yeah.
that's my point. So by the
Yeah.
time I'm seeing this, I'm pairing this up in my life, and I'm coming to a sign. I'm like, oh man, this
Yeah.
what was I doing? I should have just
Yeah.
skipped all the other stuff and got here, but I wouldn't have had the appreciation for it
Exactly.
if I didn't go through the
But that's the
other
revert,
stuff.
right?
Yeah,
That's like the revert energy of like coming into Islam. It's like you go through the trenches, you see darkness, you deal with a lot of the depths of like struggle, lack of guidance, searching
yeah,
for information just to survive. And then like you
yeah,
come across Islam and like you're like, whoa, it's all here. And it's all packaged
yeah.
beautifully for me to just enjoy. So like
That's a
yeah, I
fact.
think that's what you're seeing. I think that hopefully, I mean, that's what we're seeing in the West is like the reverts are the ones that's going to take on the mantle and really push forward the understanding of faith through experience, not through propaganda, programming, conditioning. One method,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. And
funding
I
all of
think
this.
I think the people that are born Muslim know they have such a blessing because even if they don't know what they were doing and why they were doing it, to have all of those years of just prayer under the belt, you know what I'm saying? Like
It can
just
be. You talking about best case? I've seen people go way, way, like
mm,
far away from Islam because
mm,
they didn't know. You know what I mean? Because it was pushed down their throat. And so it's like, yeah, but most times it's not the case, but most times they end up on the deep end.
mm, mm. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I think Islam in the West has a incredible opportunity to spread. Like I always say that the biggest growth, like I always, if you look at Islam like a business, right, or market share, right, because like its greatest growth potential in the Americas is between the Black and Latino population and the white
Mm,
population. So
mm,
it has so much opportunity for market share because it has solutions to problems that and again you see a lot of people reverting like Allah is a controller's thing, of course, but I think that when people look to the Far East as the example of Islam and not and I don't want to sound like a I don't want to sound a certain way, but if you're looking for the examples of Islam in anybody modern today and other than the Prophet peace and blessings be upon him and the companions in his
yeah.
lifetime, you're missing what
No, you're right. No, I know exactly what you're saying.
yeah, it's like you're going to miss the essence of how it's supposed to be. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because with all systems, people use it to their benefit and their advantage when if they could get power and control in it. You know what I mean? Because
exactly.
even the stuff that like the historically that the Christians did when they came into Jerusalem and they ate people and what they did with slave. That's not what Christianity says. That's not what
Yeah,
Christ said to do. They they may have called themselves Christian. They may have said they were following him, but they didn't do anything that he was saying to do. You know what I'm saying in that regard. So I'm careful not to cast aspersions on things based on the followers of it. I'm looking at the text and what the thing says itself. And I think that
yeah,
in America, with the controversy we see with so much pushback against Islam, is it is a clear and present danger to the economy here in a way that a lot of people don't realize. Because number one, Gen Z doesn't drink like that.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
alcohol consumption is down, primarily
And they don't
because
drive either.
of the decriminalization of marijuana and THC to a degree, and health awareness, general health
Yeah,
awareness. You know what I'm saying? So they don't drink as much. You add a layer of Islam to that, that's going to kill it even further. the
Mm.
gambling, you're gonna kill Vegas with that. You know what I'm saying? Or
It's
kill
not
the
even Vegas
gambling.
no more. That's just the
Yeah,
gambling
the
industry, the
gambling
prediction
apps, yeah.
market, and yeah,
Polymarket and all that stuff and Kalshi. So,
Prize Picks.
and then also, like again, like one of the things that I see that's a really dope thing is how many sisters are converting to Islam because of the
Yeah,
female, the Muslims representing Islam on social media. Now, some things, people be getting a little ratchet and stuff like that, but for the most part,
year three, yeah,
yeah, but it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, it
Because
is.
they're seeing representations of respect of women that are respected and that are appearing respectful. And they're like, yo, it's
Yeah,
even encouraged Christian women to do more modesty clothing and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
the overall effect that Islam is having, man, is a real thing in America. And, I think that this is why we're seeing the pushback that we're seeing, you know what I mean, at this level. You know what I mean? This is why we see Islamophobia, taking on a new twist, you know what I'm saying? Resurgence like it was during 9/11, you know what I mean? Because
mm,
it's really taking a lot of market share now. It's really starting to chip away at what other faiths, other systems are not able to provide people, which is a
yeah.
simplified way of getting in tune with the creator and following a path that's just wholesome. You know what I'm saying?
And
Like
you've seen it.
Mhm.
You've seen it being presented by reverts, right? Like even on TikTok, it's a white dude that's like talking. It trips me out every time. He's like, "This is what's halal," and he got like a
Oh yeah,
large
yeah, yeah,
following.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, this is dope. Like that's
Cowboy
gonna
type dude, right?
resonate. Yeah, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that's gonna resonate with that group as opposed to like just that one model, beard, Indian looking, like dress. It's not relatable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we need like the
Yeah.
Suhaib Webs out there that's really for each of their tribes that are out there
Right.
speaking on to like their truth because it's rooted in in alignment with the culture. So like that's
Right.
I think that's what's working. I think that's what's gonna spread. And that's what it was in Islam in the early age, right? Like you said, they were all reverts so they didn't have to try. They didn't have to pretend. And I think like when it comes to people that grew up Muslim, you almost were programmed to like keep yourself small. Like
Mm.
you didn't want to
Mm.
make nobody. You didn't want to
Mm.
like you know what I mean. Immigrant Muslim family. You like I don't want to cause trouble. So like you can't even really own your religion.
Mm.
Whereas when I see like white people, for example, uh, become Muslim, he's like, yeah, well, just throw up to work. Like, damn, nigga, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, I changed my name to Muhammad. I said, damn. But like it's so natural. And black people do the same thing to where
Yeah.
it's like, man, like this is like my new shoes, my new J's. Like, come check it out.
Bruh.
You know what I mean? Like they really come into it like people feed off of that energy. I don't care what you say. A lot of Muslims are really good at talking,
Yeah.
articulating, debating and stuff, but like nobody cares for that no more. Like they want to
Mm.
see peace. They want to
Yeah.
see the
Yeah.
change, right? So if you go back to your people and you're like, yo, Islam, baby,
Yeah.
that that has way more impact than you trying to like da'wah. Like that's the whole thing in like the Muslim world. Give da'wah, give da'wah. It's like just like it's just weird, bro. It's just people that debate and talk and like is yeah. So like that's what I see happening now in the West. It's like organic rise of like Muslims that are
Mhm.
reverts that are coming into the fold, and then like naturally on social media just talking about their experiences, and it
Yeah.
resonates.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, what's dope about that is you're absolutely right because one of the things that I think is essential is I was going through like I had already reverted, but it's like there's a pride and the dignity when
Yeah,
you come into Islam. Like you literally feel like a new person, like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
so I had a case that I was fighting at the time. Yo, I'm pulling up to the case in the Thobe. I'm
yeah.
opening my statements with the Fatiha like that. Like ain't nobody about to tell me
Wow.
nothing. But I'm wearing Islam. I'm
Exactly.
not hiding it. I'm wearing it. Like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But it's and you're like, I got the power of Allah with me. Ain't nobody about to tell me what to do, X, Y, and
exactly.
Z, right? And so I can remember even recently though in Texas, like that's why I say people gotta watch the propaganda that's out there because it's not real what you see sometimes on social media or TV. Like it was Juma, so I got the white thobe on and everything, got the whole bust down on, right? I go to get some gas. So I'm in line. I'm in the line to pay for the gas. It's a white guy. I mean, I'm talking about he owns. You could tell he's just a quintessential throwing back beers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
White guy, old head. He like, that's Egyptian. That thobe's Egyptian. I'm like, I don't know, man. It's a thobe. I'm like, I don't think it's Egyptian, you know. But he's like, no, that's Egyptian. Nice thobe. I'm like,
You said nice
so
stove?
nice thobe. So I go to the counter. It's a black dude there. He's like, oh, what I'm supposed to say? What is it again? Salam.
Yeah.
So I'm like, salam alaikum. He's like, oh, salam alaikum. You know what I mean? Then
Man.
he's like, yeah, I just want to shake your hand, man. I just want to say I love the discipline. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit, what's going
Man.
on here? You know, when I'm dressing regular, I don't get this type of, you know, I don't never get
Yeah.
this type of, you know what I mean? And
Damn.
then so I'm leaving out. Two white guys is walking in. Like, these are business guys. These two white guys walking in, you know, like, look like they
Yeah.
was business oil dudes. Like they was there to check how much the oil revenue is or something.
Billy Bob.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Holding the door for me. Here you go, sir.
Wow.
I said, oh shit.
Wow.
Welcome. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? Then I get to the car. I get to the car to
Yo,
pump
this
the
is crazy.
gas. Some other dude come by. What today is? Juma? That's what you call it? I said, yeah, Juma. But Juma.
No,
This is hillbilly
nigga, this is
Texas.
a television show.
That's what I'm saying.
What?
I'm like, yo, shit, I need to wear a throw more often, like every day type joint.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a
People want to
respect.
know.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Wow.
It's not what
Wow.
people think. Like, even when I saw them protesting, I saw the protest in front
Fascinating.
of Plano. They was out there at the masjid giving out, you know, like supplies or whatever, like food or whatever, like a food drive or whatever, like a pantry joint, drive up, pick up stuff. They had protesters out there. So the one guy that was in Dearborn, he came to Plano in Texas and did it. So they went to one of the white neighbors, and one of the white neighbors was there. He's like, I wish you people would get the hell out of here. You know, these are good people, good for our community.
What?
Yeah, he was a neighbor he lived in like the Muslim community
Wow.
in Plano, but like, you know,
Yeah.
I was like, wow. You see what I'm saying? So it's not what people think, man.
Give our community. Yo, that's powerful, man. That's like, yeah, people gotta hear this. And this is like, especially in today's day and age where there's so much uncertainty, people don't got time for like the noise. And Islam is like the best filter of noise, man.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
really gonna get you through. So yeah, no, that's powerful, man. We definitely thank God for Ramadan. Yeah, we're gonna definitely elaborate on this more.
yeah,
We'll have
for
these
sure.
clips out and like it's already gaining traction. Just you telling your story, people are already like, yeah, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
Like the
didn't think it was
buttercup
gonna be
there.
like that. I'm just
I neither.
casually telling it, like, yo, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
I'm just
But it
casually telling
resonates.
it.
Like people, I'm telling you, bro. I know a lot of people that like that's why you start realizing community, and that's what we're doing. Like the community of building people that are like us and sincere and seeking truth and really just taking our time with faith and understanding that it's a process, right? And falling in love with the process and trusting that it'll work itself out in the end. You'll get to year 23, but you got to be present with year one first, right? So it's like
That's a fact.
that model and people needing that, right? And resonating with that so they can feel empowered, feel like they're trusted in their relationship with God first, personally. So yeah, man, what we're doing, man, is inshallah, it's gonna start keep taking off. Like we're really
Yeah, inshallah.
this is powerful stuff, inshallah, man. I'll see you for
Yeah. Inshallah. See you for iftar.
yeah. Anything else? I mean anything else? You got
No. I'll
all that?
save it for the next show. Save it for Monday. Inshallah.
So are we not doing we all right, we do Monday, Thursday?
Yeah,
That works. Oh,
that
you're
was our
right,
schedule.
Juma.
Yeah. Juma
You're right, you're right,
tomorrow.
you're right.
Yeah.
That stuff is starting
Inshallah.
to get good. All right, fair, man.
Yeah, nah, we coming back with the heat on Monday, inshallah, for sure. All right.
So I'll get in, bro.
Wa alaikum salam.